Welcome in to this week's episode of Untold Stories, a weekly D&D campaign set in the world of Elvoria. We're back with these wonderful humans, still Down and Andrew, sadly, but we're here to roll some dice, attempt some questionable accents, and hopefully tell a decent story. This is the last week for the What's My Motivation Kickstarter, so if you haven't backed it already, head on over to the link in the description and back it. You can get the PDF for a really low cost. There's going to be the new villain chapter, and plenty more, so do go back that and join on that Kickstarter and many of the other wonderful Kickstarters in Zine Month. Classes, as always, we are using the Reimagined Classes that are available on the DM's Guild in this campaign. You may remember a couple of sessions ago weirdly rolling for meta magic rather than just using it. That's some of the fun you can have with the Sorcerer Reimagined. You can grab all of the classes as a bundle or grab the individual ones that you want over on the DM's Guild. You can follow the link in the description to find it. And lastly, any NPC art shown during the campaign is from Aderyn and Giolini's Art Venturing Guild. The character art is done by @LiveDoodles, and the Chibi battle map art, if it turns up, was done by WeTheDreamingDesigns. Do check them out, continue to support real artists, and fuck off AI. Relatively quick announcements this week, not a lot else going on, so we will continue telling our story. Last time out, not a lot happened, as you eventually all reconvened and spent some time debating how you were going to leave, when you were going to leave, en route to Giardothras. Back and forth discussion eventually ended with the decision to head via road, feeling you were more in control of your destiny and your journey at that point over the shorter potential of a boat journey. Deciding to grab some rations to aid you, to make sure you are fed on your journey and not have to rely on Balrick's hunting skills. Aderyn also bought some ribbon to give Derek an adorable little collar and essentially try to kidnap Balrick's adopted son for her own personal gains. But you didn't waste time lingering in town, unsure as to how welcome you were at this point, and you headed out as the sun was heading towards the western horizon, towards the end of day. A couple of hours in, you decided to camp up in a small copse of trees, just off the side of the road, and settled in. During the night, however, Togrim saw 4 horsemen riding down the road, coming towards them, and their peerless vision and instinctive ability to hide the campsite meant that the Castigators, the mage hunters in the employ of the Empire designed to capture and deal with errant mages, were unaware of your campsite. It dawned on Balrick that they may be on your tail rather than anyone else's, and perhaps you may need to travel swiftly to stay ahead of them and make sure you're not caught. But we pick up the morning after, you all having a little bit of breakfast, as you mount up and get back on the road. Is there anything anyone wanted to do before the day's journey began?
I think I would have woken up everyone quite early and informed that, pushed them out of the bed. That's why hammocks are great, because I can just... Look. There's... Togrim saw something in the night. He says they're mage hunters. Yeah?
Yeah, the Castigators.
I think they're on our trail from what happened in Calcurth, and no doubt on the way they'll pick up more info on what we've done. We need to move fast. We're going to have a short night, early mornings. Moving quickly, or they'll catch up to us quick otherwise.
If they're hunting us, they'll catch us up quick no matter what we do.
Did they ride past?
Yeah, they rode past towards Nare.
Then, well, they can't catch up to us if they're in front.
I mean, it was just 4 of them on horses. With the wagon, we're going to be much slower than them. So when they get to Nare, find we're not there and turn around, they could catch us up quickly. That is, if they're looking for us.
Or if anyone tells them that we were there, or they know who they're looking for.
Yeah.
Let's hope that maybe they have to go back to Calcutta. That'll take them a lot longer. Either way.
Us, they'll know we were there because they'll talk to the judge, who knew we were there.
Oh yeah.
Would the Castigators talk to judges and stuff? Getting?
They're part of law enforcement, essentially.
They are.
They're the FBI.
Yeah, more. They're technically, if you wanted to get into the red tape of it, underneath the Officio Arcanum. So yeah, they're feds.
Very much. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, they're going to go and speak to the judge and turn around and come right after us if we're who they're looking for.
Maybe we move quickly and try to find a route off the beaten path.
Do they have any evidence against us?
They have the word of a judge now, thanks to Tauri.
Oh no, that's been one and done.
Yeah, she got a fine. She paid for it.
Does it mean the judge won't send them after us?
I think it's been too soon since Harry spoke to the judge for them to be after us for that.
Do I know anything about them at all?
Roll me a history check.
I'm not saying they're after us for that, but it'll be enough to know this is the same group.
History 15.
15. The Castigators have been a concept within the Empire for a very long time. They are the law and act outside it to an extent. They're not necessarily bound to... They have remit to make final decisions. There's an element of judge, jury, and executioner to them. In the case of mages specifically. They can't prosecute other stuff, although it's been known for the Castigators to be very, very heavy-handed with their approach at times. They are very disciplined to the point of there's not... Most of them don't have a lot of wiggle room. They're very black and white in how they view things.
A bit like the judge, but more so.
The judge isn't black and white per se. That's not the... Judges do take in the interpretation of law by standard.
That's why I said more so.
Yeah, these guys are criminal or not kind of thing. With a 15, you wouldn't be feeling very comfortable at the fact that you have technically been charged with illegal use of magic.
Sure,
What's the sort of punishment that they give out?
Go on, Tauri.
I was about to say, I wouldn't necessarily feel that was the reason that they were here, even if I'm not.
No, I would have said it's from Calcutta, I reckon.
What did you say, Togrim, by the way?
What sort of punishments do they give out?
They have the remit to execute on the spot, if they deem.
I think we've seen one of them, right?
But do they also take charge it?
They will
and
arrest.
stuff?
They will arrest. They're not a catch and release department.
Right.
They are incarceration or execution is pretty much their
Okay.
MO.
No, but the people we saw in the other town, I think, were a different thing. They were religious.
Correct.
No.
They had entirely different iconography and approach to things. They were a religious sect that didn't seem necessarily affiliated with anyone, per se.
Okay. Oh, so is this the first time Leslie's heard the word Castigators?
Oh yeah, this would be the first time you've heard it.
That's a fantastic sounding name. It sounds kind of sexy. What do these Castigators get up to?
Killing a friend for using magic.
Yeah, they hunt mages.
Well, it's a good thing none of us are mages, eh?
Right?
Right?
Sure.
More than half of us use magic.
I think
Careful. Nobody has seen us.
Not entirely.
I had
true.
to lie back when we first met to save you.
Look, either way, I don't think we need to be arguing about that. We just need to move.
yeah.
Try and make them lose their scent. You know. Let's get the wagon packed up. We'll head on. Try and cut this journey down.
Does that mean you're going to try and travel fast?
Yeah.
In that case, can someone roll me a d10?
As I'm driving, I will roll 8.
8. Your initial hope that the mists would burn away are quickly dismissed as strong breezes bring in a decent amount of cloud cover and cause the mists to essentially linger along the ground. Fortunately, it doesn't actually slow your travel, though, by any means. It just means you have basically no idea what's going on around you, especially with the speed that you're traveling at. There is a dawning moment, however, about shortly after lunch, although you decide to not stop for lunch and you are eating on the go, that you pass by a familiar set of fence posts and a dirt trail leading off the road.
It's just that house.
Farm.
Or,
I'll slow the wagon down to a trot. Do we want to check in?
If you're wanting to make time, no.
Lesley, you don't look happy.
Quite comfortable right here, to be honest. I think maybe we can just leave this situation to someone else.
Well, I guess we just have to hope he's doing alright. Speed up again.
You carry on leaving that element of your past unresolved or unanswered for now, and continue travelling on, making use of as much daylight as you can. Do you wish to push on during the night, or are you camping while there is still daylight?
I would like to camp somewhere stealthily, but if I can find somewhere stealthy, then
Since you are trying to travel quickly, perception will be at disadvantage.
I'll give you
Any help?
the bargaining inspiration.
Tauri's having a stroke.
Yeah.
And yes, someone can provide the help action if you want.
it would be a good idea.
Tauri
Lesley's
will
helping. Ah, that's better, I think.
It doesn't matter who helps.
Yeah, but
but-
Lesley's actively hindering. I lied.
With Bardic Inspiration, that is a 24, and if it's straight,
Yeah,
Roll.
help would make it a flat roll.
24.
24. Despite
It would have been a 2, so...
Despite the heavy mists that have woven through the various rolling hills here, the mountains to the south completely obscured in some sort of drizzle that's not quite caught up to you yet. You do spot a little gully that takes you out of the line of sight of the road. It is a short distance off-road that you would have to pull the cart through basically unhardened earth. But you do spot this little thing that you're fairly confident would completely obscure you from the road.
I'm going to take us down there.
It is barely wide enough for the cart down here. It is at times scraping the rock, but the cart does fit down the gully.
I think we're sleeping a bit rough tonight. We've got the tarp on the cart, so I think we'll try to squeeze as many as we can in there. I'll set up a tent or two. No fires. Cold rations tonight. Get comfy. We really rushed ramshackle camp.
This is something that you would think about. I think it's fair. Do you try to cover the tracks of your cart going off the road?
If you've said it's something I'll think about, then yes, actually, yeah.
It's something reasonable that I think Balrick as a hunter would think about leaving tracks. In that case, can you make me a survival check?
$15.
15. It's not gone. There's still sign of something having passed here, but it's not heavy cart tracks. You've successfully kind of disguised those up, but there's this passage of something moving through here. At a glance, it could be a bear. It could be a wild animal.
Exit chased by bear.
But you all begin to settle into your rather cramped living quarters for the evening. Any considerations, conversations?
I would like to ask Balrick to teach me some Draconic. And I don't know if Aderyn's aware of other people also speaking and knowing how to speak Draconic, but if you want to chime in.
I do not. Balrick's gonna go. I'll try, but I'm a fairly new speaker. I think I don't remember learning it. I just kind of can speak with Derek. It's, I think, something to do with my connection. I'm sure one of the others is more learned on it and they book smart with it. Well, I think it's one of the languages of the Empire, you know? Howdy, Togrim. One of you guys can speak Draconic, can't you?
Yeah, I grew up learning Draconic from, very young.
That's would you all be willing to teach me between you?
Yeah, sure.
I'll probably speak it better. I reckon I'd probably speak it with some weird dialect that comes from the fact that it's a baby dragon that I'm speaking from when it's morning.
You speak in like Simlish.
Has Derek actually said anything? Or is it a mental like you?
Rough words. He's a baby. He said toddler speak, basically.
Okay. But he's actually, said it out loud.
No, he's only ever said it telepathically to Aderyn.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yes, that's what I thought it was a telepathically.
Yeah.
Oh. If you're not too tired, I'd be up for learning some Draconic before bed.
Yeah. I guess I could try and teach you how to say "my name is Aderyn" in Draconic, but fuck knows how that sounds. Growls and hisses.
Yeah, some kind of Welsh, Latin.
Try it. Try it.
No.
I think I've been established that Draconic is Latin-esque.
Yeah, it is Latin-esque. It is not word for word Latin, but it does the job. The two of you can roll intelligence checks.
I give the help action by chiming in with different dialectical stuff.
Sure. Which one are you giving help action to?
Aderyn.
Fair.
Togrim doesn't need help with intelligence.
I only rolled a 13.
This might take a while to learn. The advantage, I got a 4.
Do you remember that scene from Friends?
She doesn't. She doesn't, but okay.
No, it's not smooth going, to be said. Togrim's never tried to teach anyone a language before, and Aderyn trying to learn foreign languages is tough. And to be fair, part of your mind is partly on the fact that there's mage hunters on your tail, and you're currently a very illegal sorcerer.
You keep just learning the swears.
It's a start.
I mean, how many are there in the group that could speak it? 3?
I think Ximori can too.
Ximori.
Yeah,
Ximori-
3 of us.
all the Empire ones can speak it naturally. I can speak it because I got a dragon in my brain.
So we could just switch to Draconic for random parts of the day.
Fuck you.
Are you going for immersion there? Immersion method?
Yeah.
If you ever want to just leave Lesley out of conversations completely,
Love
Lesley could learn as well. We'll just end up talking like the mornings or something is Draconic.
can you imagine this random group of 6 people that just come through the street speaking Latin?
It's going to be like mum and dad at home when they just use random Welsh words.
Yeah. No, it's just it's Draconic breakfasts now. That's what it is. That's the agreement you come to.
Alright, it's gone really. It's gone pretty poor this afternoon. Like, sleep on it, relax. In the morning, we'll speak Draconic for a bit while we pack up.
Yeah.
We'll pick it up. Lesley, you going to try as well?
I don't really see why I should. You'll speak common quite well.
Alright, fine. We'll have secret conversations without you.
No, I don't like that either. Maybe we could just all agree that we'll teach Derek common.
I'll say Draconic to the rest of them. What a lazy bastard, right?
I think you mean
Aderyn will like nod and go.
Thank you. I do think I'm sexy.
Balrick will laugh at that. First time he's laughed at Lesley.
at Lesley.
Alright. Bed now. It's going to be a rough night. We'll get up in the morning and we'll leave quickly. Get to bed, young un. Now.
Tauri. Heads or tails?
Tails.
Interesting.
No, not interesting.
It's never good.
That means he now rolls 2d100 on the table to decide which amount of d6 to roll. And does he say oof or ooh?
He's writing something down. Stop it. Stop giving him ideas.
No, don't. He's messing with us. He's just messing. Have you not seen? Was that not in our group chat? The D100 table for different dice amounts to roll and what to say afterwards. Oh my god, I need to find it and send it to the group chat.
Send it to us.
I want to read this. Watches are set as the night draws on.
I think we probably go to 2 per watch. Because you need 6 hours of sleep, don't you?
Correct.
So we probably go to 2 people per watch.
Okay.
No, it's 8 hours of sleep.
Long rest
An 8-hour
is
rest,
6
yeah.
hours of sleep within an 8-hour period.
Yeah. Yeah, we probably go to 2 people.
Okay.
Now that there's a greater threat.
Who wants to take first?
Yeah, but Lesley doesn't have dark vision, so I'm out.
Lesley and Aderyn can sleep. Me and Ximori will take first.
I mean, I will point out that over half of the party does not have dark vision.
Oh, It's an issue.
Yeah, but if it's me and Ximori and then you and Togrim, at least one of us has dark vision every time.
Yeah, which is why. Yeah, but so someone will need to tally up with Ximori for 2 hours who doesn't have.
I will do. Oh,
It's 6 hours in total that we need to do watch
I think
for
we've
people to
established
sleep.
2 watches earlier, wasn't we?
So either we camp here for 10 hours so that everyone gets a long rest with 2 watches, or 5 of us need to do.
I don't care that much about long rests. It's very
Yeah.
hand wavy with this,
I think we're not being that.
especially when you have an elf who is ready in 4. Like it
That's
changes
fine.
the maths.
Tauri's going to kick Lesley awake to take a watch.
Lee is
It's fine,
gonna
fall,
fall
Leslie.
asleep again.
Interesting.
I got you a cushion. Stop saying interesting.
It implies
Togrim will
that-
take a watch at some point, but I don't know if it's at that same time.
Oh,
I don't know who the order
Tauri
was.
and Togrim are doing the watch together.
Okay.
Okay.
Everyone else settles down as the 2 of you kind of take a watch. You get out of the gully so that you can have a look out. Anything you want to talk about? Your watch passes by in silence. Roll perception between the 2 of you.
You are trying to be stealthy, so that's probably best.
Who are you asking?
The 2 that are on watch. One of you will have disadvantage because you
Who
don't
is
have
on
dark
watch
vision.
currently?
So I was
Was it-
thinking if
It could just be me and Ximori and then you and Togrim.
So is it me at the moment?
so.
Can Harry
you-
give me the help action to give you advantage, or is that just
No, I'm going to get a flat
Right.
roll best. You can get an advantage if someone helps you.
So maybe you can be helped. You can help
Yeah.
him.
Well, he'll get help twice because he'll have his faithful hound help as well, I'm sure.
Although I don't think anything says about people having dark vision.
No, but helping you
Still
will get because you've got dark vision.
No. Let me roll with advantage then. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. With where you stopped,
Good at seeing things.
you are apparently. With where you stopped, you can make out the edge of the Ishra wood from where you are. And during the night, you spot some faint glows coming from the edge of the forest. Not like balls of floating orange, white light, just bouncing around the edge of the forest.
Which is the Ishra wood?
The one you were in,
South of us now.
technically to the east, west of you even. Currently.
Right.
Ishra wood's quite
That's
big.
fine. Weird floaty orb things, but I don't really care because we're leaving. We're not going in that direction, so I will just keep a mental note of it, but
Fair enough.
it doesn't seem interesting.
Other than that, your watch goes by uneventfully.
Good. That's the best I thought. Balrick and Ximori.
Yeah.
We're heading up to bed.
Balrick, you're nudged awake by Togrim.
And
Ximori.
Lesley is kicked awake hard.
Alright, thank you. Anything interesting anymore?
Nothing really. Some weird floaty lights in the forest over where we've just come from, but I wouldn't look into it any further.
I'll keep an eye out. Ready to roll?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm using dead to cancel out disadvantage. Yeah.
Sure.
14.
14. You keep an eye out for those lights that Togrim mentioned, and there's nothing there as far as you can tell. You watch the clouds just roll past over the starry sky, keeping you somewhat company, with Ximori continuing to be clearly in their own head right now. As they seem to be processing a lot, shall we say.
I think I'll just leave Ximori alone and we'll watch different sides. But I've been around Ximori longer than I know that Ximori can just need time to face some punks.
So, Ximori, you are on watch with Balrick. Neither of you are in the mood for talking to each other at this point. Balrick seems to be going over some kind of physical rituals that they're accustomed to with their kind of swords and the like. And you've seen them do it dozens of times at this point. It's a nervous habit. Unfortunately, you're a little bit too much in your own head right now. Between events in the forest and, for the first time in a long time, that endless, bottomless pit of hunger, seemingly weirdly satiated, followed by hiding out at the cart, afraid to face your past that you don't quite understand. And then the mad rush to leave town that no one fully explained at the point. Although it has since been explained that Tauri possibly had some misguided attempts to liaise with the judge that left you in a poor state with both the legal and illegal states of Narre, and deciding as a group to get out of town faster than...
That's all states there are.
Yes. And piling on to your bubbling pile of stress was the first evening outside of town. While you were in your trance state, it appears that the Castigators, or at least one of the Castigators, the mage hunters of the Empire, rode past heading to Narre, and Balrick's fear is that they are after some of your party. All of that is playing on your mind at this point as you sit atop this rocky outcrop, the wagon with the varying sleeping members of your team, about 10 feet below you in this mini crevasse, looking out over the thin mist on the Narre road, keeping a lookout as to what's going on. You doing anything? What are you thinking about?
I think the Ximoris are sort of drawn their legs up, like arms around, just head down, looking at that horizon. And just not feeling confident and a bit calmer now they're away from Narre. But the Castigators riding by is too much of a coincidence for even Ximori not to notice. And they know what it's like to be hunted.
That mood of being hunted plays on you. For a long time, you have been running, unable to face down what you're running from, and in some places not able to remember quite what you're running from. You find yourself in both mind, body, and spirit, trying to fathom quite what has happened in the last few days. When you hear the wind kind of die down and the world around you kind of peter out from focus as a voice in your head utters, "Bust."
fast.
I am fast. At least in your tongue.
Good to meet you. Get out of my head.
That is not an option for us. We are bonded. We have been bonded for a long time.
When did that happen then?
I feel you understand when you are just hiding from your own truths.
I'm pretty good at hiding. Done pretty well so far.
You've hidden for a long time. Don't you want to stop running?
I would like to stop running. But then I'd quite like to do that with my friends and not some mysterious passenger who just now decides to speak up.
I have only now truly woken the slipped shackles of whatever was loosened now.
So what, you're the hungry feelings, you're the bit that I can't remember.
I am what you need me to be. I bring out what you need.
What I need is for you to call my son. What was that?
You know my tongue now like I know yours. We are bonded, and we can be special.
So what do you want from me then? What are you going to use me for?
I am not here to use you. We are one. I cannot claim you.
Okay, so the claws, the tail, all that, that's you then, is it?
I have slept long enough to drip into every cell of you and feel through you. Your flesh is my flesh, and through that change can be given.
And I feel we need to set a few ground rules. You need to understand you're the passenger. I'm the driver.
Call on my strength when you need. Don't you want to stop running away from your problems? Run towards them. Deal with them. End them.
And that's you, is it? You're the thing that will stop them all or rip them apart.
We are a union. A symbiosis. A balance between the rage of mortals and the gifts of the dark.
Well, as long as you don't hurt this lot, that's fine. I'll keep you fed and watered. You keep me tearing the rest of them up that get in our way.
Their screams will live long in the night and haunt the shadows of the day.
Yeah, alright, a little bit less of that, come on. We fight to survive. Survival comes at a price. Sometimes that price is blood. Broken bones. Carved skin. Gouged eyes. But we're not cruel. I'm not cruel. And so you're not cruel. Understand?
We are what is necessary, nothing more.
Right then. Get some rest fast. I might need you soon.
The world around you starts to shift back into focus, almost from behind a slow-moving fog. The sound of Balrick's whetstone on his sword kind of brings you back to the quiet silence of the dark of night. You come back in, and among varying sensations, the dark seems a little crisper. The shadows don't bleed as much, they cut to the point that it's almost a comfort being in the dark. What does disturb you, though, is the fact that you can hear whispers that sound like Balrick, just feeding into your mind. Balrick's mouth is not moving.
Probably just tired. Too much of Aderyn. No. Sit and pull my mind away from Balrick and towards Aderyn.
She's currently asleep. As you go to reach out to her, just thinking in that direction, it's like your thoughts fragment across a crystal surface, like a torchlight hitting a gem, where it disperses but doesn't permeate.
Look. It's mind magic nonsense. Don't know what she's doing.
Your watch then continues into the night. Cloudy sky covering much of the starlight. Eventually, the two of you begin to wake up the rest of camp. The next day begins. But eventually your watch comes to an end. Dawn begins to break to the east, the direction that you will eventually be heading. And you wake everyone up for draconic breakfast.
Does it come with wine?
Yes.
Plenty of wine now, don't we?
But, well, we do have to ration it. This will only last like 2 or 3 days.
No. Tragic.
Sure, we'll be fine.
They're all saying stuff that you don't understand, Lesley.
Yeah, what's the first like phrase that you guys are gonna try and teach Darren and Aderyn? Sorry. In Draconic.
I guess my name is the first thing. But like,
You're not
we
gonna
also
punk
stuff like
her.
breakfast and
Are you gonna do it like you do for a baby? Like soup? Soup? Soup?
yeah, that would be sort of Togrim's approach, is just like holding out things and saying the word for it.
Really slowly.
Togrim doesn't know how to teach
Why?
languages. He knows 3 of them, but fuck knows how to teach them.
Repeat things. Trying to memorize them.
It's a start. It's not much of learning a language right now. You're learning vocab. But, you know, everyone's got to start somewhere. Breakfast is cold, with no campfire. But the mists seemingly are beginning to move on. And you're fairly confident that today is the day that they actually will no longer be in your way. So you load up the cart and head out once again onto the road northwards towards the crossroads. Who's rolling a D10 this time?
Does anyone want to take over driving, or is that just a...
Yes.
Go on, Lesley. Guess I'll trust you. Quick but careful, Lesley, alright?
Don't worry. I am pretty sure I can drive a cart. Whoopa! Whoa! Or roll a die. What do I have to roll?
Just a D10.
Oh. What does the 10 look like?
It's the one
It
that's
is.
not an isohedron.
40! Yes, 4.
4, okay. As you're travelling along this day, the mists have finally faded, but the skies themselves haven't cleared. It's a fairly overcast day with the odd gust of wind coming down the road as you continue to climb up towards the main road. Not long into your journey, you spot another cart coming down the road, very similar to yours. Slightly more bespoke awning, seemingly covering the back. As it comes down, being pulled by a fellow oxen and a seemingly rotund man, thinning hair on the top, taking their cart towards an arrow.
Did we not pass a nice bloke on a cart on our way towards Nari before?
Quite possibly.
We had a turtle.
It was Tortle. Ah, yeah.
Torta was on your way to Sandroy Car.
Summary. Oh.
Abraham
nice bloke.
Duchesne.
Oh. I forgot about the drawl.
Got to stick a lot of A's in those names to get the voice going.
Fantastic. Lesley is feeling his full, like, cart driver fantasy. He's gonna try and tip an imaginary hat today.
The individual responds in kind. Afternoon, sir. Afternoon, it's morning, sorry. Morning, sir. Fair travel?
Fair travel. Sorry, Lesley. Fair travel indeed. How's the road up there?
Doing alright. Fairly busy, it seems. A lot of people making their way east, it seems.
Making my way downtown. Come on. East. Would that be for the celebration?
I'd have thought of it that way, quite possibly. More than I'm used to, though. People usually stay where they are for that. Tianlong and all that.
Is there anybody next to me, or is everybody behind me in the?
I suspect Balrick's probably up with you, if anyone.
I think the Balrick might have fallen asleep a little bit. He's been having some very short nights and dealing with a lot of stress. Just like sleeping in the car.
Oh, okay. He's doing like dad sleeping, where he's like, I'm just resting my eyes.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It might be a little bit of a.
Is there anything we should know for the road ahead?
Keep your eye out for smoke if you're heading west.
Is it good or bad if we see the smoke?
I wouldn't go near it.
Very good to know. West. We'll avoid the smoke. You should also avoid smoke when you go on your way.
Try to.
It's just as a general rule of thumb.
Not a bad one. Anyway, fair travels.
And if you head to... Oh my god, what's the name of Fiddler's favourite courtesan?
Cassandra?
Cassandra. Oh yeah. Leslie's going to recommend Cassandra to him.
Thanks. I'll do with that what I can. As this portly, thinning-haired man continues on the road away from you. As you continue your journey. I assume again you're trying to travel relatively quickly, not stopping for lunch or anything like that. Which means you probably expect that you will reach the crossroads around the time that you're probably looking to camp. The kind of extra hours you gained on the first day, and then the speed you've been travelling has kind of shortened down this section. To mean you might even be able to push on a little bit if you wanted to, but the crossroads will provide like a significant point to stop at if you wished.
Still probably want to stay off the main, like not in an open area, which I feel like crossroads sound like open areas.
Well, we've been to these crossroads before, so we'd know if there was any.
Oh, we're on our way back.
Yeah, you've been travelling back up the road you came.
Mate, my sense of direction is terrible.
Oh.
It's a good thing Balrick was next to Lesley. I need to get the map up. Sorry.
Just throwing the map in chat for you.
I put that right up.
Yeah, I don't think we turned... I'd realised we turned quite so southwest when we came down this path. I thought it was more of a still of an eastward path. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I literally thought it was like we're on the other coast. Oh my god. Okay, cool. So he was saying people were heading east than normal?
People are heading east, seemingly moving away
on
from
our
the
way.
west. Yeah.
We're going
okay.
against the flow of traffic.
No, you'll be going with the flow of traffic.
We're going towards, yeah.
You said they're moving east.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that would be partly because of the celebration. in
Also,
Gyrodothrest?
To an extent, Tianlong is very much is more often celebrated within the community you're in. A few people will go to larger sites, but it is more to do with like reconnecting and establishing community elements.
Okay.
Oh, I should
Maybe
definitely have
just
asked more about the
fires.
people travelling east. Whoopsie. Sorry, guys.
Is there anything for us to camp next to at the crossroads? I can't remember from
So the
first time.
crossroads does have
Designated areas.
Yeah. It does look like you're slightly surprised that there isn't really like an inn here. It feels like a very good place to have an inn, and for some reason no one's ever built one here. But there seems to be a lot of like packed down areas where clearly carts and stuff have waited overnight and just slowly worked the soil to the point where it looks like a car park. And like various people would stop. It's very clear like it's an obvious place for a group of people to stop overnight, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Ari makes a note in her notebook.
Do we want to stop here? Or do we want to carry on?
Where did we camp on this road before?
I think you just went past the crossroads, if I remember correctly. Just because you had like a couple of hours more of sunlight, so you pushed on rather than.
We know that area.
Well,
And
we
the days
won't,
aren't good.
because we'll be going to a new part of the road.
Yeah. You're turning right at this point if you are intent on going to Gyrodothrest. If you're intent on going elsewhere, do what you want. I can't stop you.
No one can. I'm in charge of this cart, baby. Yeah, sure. Lesley will listen to the others on this.
I reckon we camp here. It's late now, isn't it?
Yeah,
you
it's you're officially in dusk at this point.
Yeah.
That you're coming down. There's probably a few hours left of decent light, and you can actually see coming from the west a few caravans heading down the road that you assume are also going to stop here for the night.
Figure we just camp up for the night.
Do we mind that there will be others here? What did we talk for?
It'd be better for hiding our presence. We look less suspicious in a bigger group. Balrick says, waking up. Yeah. I was awake all day.
Get a spot now if we stop now. Is in like Bagsy spot. Look at the good spot.
Bagsy, love it.
Yeah,
This is when the battle map comes up with like a family of 5 trying to find her.
tell you what, roll investigation. Let's see whether you can find a good spot.
We send Pebble ahead to guard a spot.
You send Pebble out truffle hunting.
With my +6.
He's our beach towel.
Ooh.
Oh,
You can't see very well on the approach, and Leslie's driving. So nowhere looks particularly better than anywhere else. Maybe just go to the east side because you're going to be going that way in the morning.
That's the best advice I can give is go to that bit.
right you are.
You pull the cart up. There are no trees here, but it is in a fairly sheltered space of the road anyway, so you're not getting terrible winds. And you also do find that this place does have a small spring where people can fill up water skins and the like. Unfortunately, it is on the other side of where all the campers are than yours. But, it's just a short walk across the thing to go fill up any of your water skins as you begin settling in for the evening.
Anybody dare fill one of my wineskins with water, you will be cursed. I will find a witch to curse you all.
I hadn't thought about it, but now I am.
And you'll be cursed by a witch.
And it smells like you still are.
Surely
Prestidigitation
Aderyn has
doesn't
not
last
let me.
that long.
I mean, based on the fact that you make them smell like something, or is it just get rid of a smell?
You can make them smell like it,
I assume
but
you can make somebody smell like
it
something.
has a duration of an hour. It's been 3 days.
Maybe I've just been constantly doing it.
There's no way that Tauri is still upset with Lesley.
No, there's not.
We've been sharing wine. And Lesley got you a cushion. The comfiest cushion.
Does Tauri get the comfiest cushion?
It just happened to be the most... I'm sorry, Lesley. Just happened to be the most apt one. Apt one for her.
I will trust your system.
And she did make me smell like poo for quite a while.
I'm gonna stay here. Maybe we could blend in by making friends or by acting like friends. Like we could play some music, tell some stories, make it like a proper sleepover.
Lesley could do some more bad poetry.
You guys focus on the making friends aspect. I'll make sure I can't. So, not
Yeah,
my
that's
priority.
What sort of... Is there evidence that people set fires here? I assume there must be.
Yeah, there's a few kind of scoped out fire pits. Very rough ones, nothing like official and unwell made. It's kind of slightly dug out of the earth and whatever stones can be found kind of dotted around it.
It's just a bunch of different burnt spots where people have kind of grouped up together.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Pick one and light a fire in it.
You see in a few spaces that there's well-aged logs that are kind of like half sunk into the ground, clearly from like months of people sitting on them kind of thing. They're starting to go a little bit in terms of degrading, but they work as like camp seats, as it were.
I guess we're just camped up and wait till tomorrow.
A few other people pull in and start setting up camp. They seem to like they give you like a wave, like just a courtesy, but your general collective, shall we say, means people don't want to be the ones to approach you. You have a metal wolf, a brightly coloured dragon, and a crazy lady with a stick.
One's the crazy lady.
Two crazy
And
ladies, to be
also
honest.
Ximori.
Yeah, you don't give the appearance of come talk to us, we're normal people. You very much do give the appearance of we have a lot going on, and people don't want to get involved in that by the looks of it.
Which is perfectly fair.
Anyone who wants to, who is maybe observing the locals, the other travellers, can give a perception check.
Dibs.
I would also like to.
I don't know why I dibs that. I'm terrible at observing.
I got 15.
Got a natural 20.
Got a 12.
Nice. I got 12.
Togrim and Tauri, you both notice that these people aren't merchants. The way that their wagons are loaded, the kind of wagons that they have, they're not merchants' wagons. They're not transporting goods to sell anywhere. These people are families that seem to be travelling with an awful lot of stuff loaded up on the back of what look like farmyard carts and pulled by farm animals. Togrim, you particularly point out that, or you put an element together that these people are moving their entire livelihoods right now.
Yeah. Can I go up to one of the closest groups
I'd probably join Togrim.
and ask, like, why are you guys moving so much stuff?
You end up talking to a kind of shaggy-haired elf, fairly wizened in their years within this family group. He just said to you, "Where have you been? You not heard what's been happening?"
No, not at all. We've just been down in Naray and there's nothing. A couple fire mentions, but that's it.
Oh, so you have heard. Not the extent, though. Farms are catching up all over the place. It's weird, considering we've not exactly had a hot summer, but the number of farms that are going up at the minute, ours was gone. We took what we could, and well, we're heading off to somewhere that hopefully has got something for us.
Do you know what's causing it? You said it's not a hot summer.
Saints if I know. It seemed whatever the various us did, water from the well or anything, nothing seemed to quench it. They grew too fast, too quick, and before you know it, the entire crop yield's gone.
Does this ring bells back to the first fire
At Calcath?
that wouldn't get put out?
Possible. Make your own conclusions. But, I mean,
Fire again at Calcar?
It was when there was that dancing figure on the roof that no matter what we tried to do,
Oh, yeah.
water, nothing would put the fire out, and then the dancing figure vanished and the fire put itself out. Or
Yeah.
something like that.
we were just lucky that our farmhouse didn't go with it. We managed to get out beforehand, but there was no use in us staying. So, well, we thought maybe Geodothras has something for us.
Well, I hope you find something. We're on our way over there anyway. But it seems like there's loads of people coming.
Doesn't surprise me, the stories that have been catching wind. Fires all over the place. Not various places. I mean, Greenlee went up, and Barleybrook too. I mean, I sincerely hope the commission's got something planned for all this, and the grain stores are all right to get us through this year, but there's going to be a lot of people needing new livelihoods next year.
Yeah, we've already seen low supplies. We had to pay extra to get the rations we've got.
Yeah, it seems like people are preparing for the worst. But I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Togrim. I am Togrim. Nice to meet you.
And you?
Tauri.
Ah, nice to meet you. I'm Clay. This is my family. You look behind. There's about 3 teenage kids, a young daughter, and by the looks of it, their wife, who all kind of have the look of like farm hands, people who work on the farms. Sorry we don't have more cheerful news from the fields, but I think everyone needs to know what's going on.
Yeah, it's not your fault. It's good to be informed. Thank you for your time. I hope you have a good night. And,
Before we go, how are you for money?
Oh,
Be
we've
okay.
we've got something. I'm not sure what we're going to do when we get to Geodothras. Hopefully there's a place we can stay in. Hopefully, hopefully the town and farm will be there when this all kind of comes to a close and we can move home, but thought it best to leave for now.
I turn to Togrim and say, have you still got that money from the apothecary?
Yeah, it reminds me I haven't distributed it yet. I was going to hand it out on the journey. Yeah, Castigator sighting has thrown me off.
I think it's thrown everything off. Could you give me 10 gold from it and take it from mine?
Sure.
And then I'll hand it to this family.
Oh, we didn't mean anything, but you.
I know. And I hand it across still.
I'd be a fool to say no if anything, it might help us repair the farm. So, it's very kind of you. Thank you.
People must stick together in trying times. How many families are there here?
At this point, and you're fairly certain it's the kind of end of it. There's 4 families here that are staying for the night, other than yourselves.
And they're all families and not hot young singles in our area.
Families is perhaps I was mimicking the question. It's groups, 4 individual groups. By the looks of it, there is another Dragonborn family, specifically silver and brass parentage, and then the other 2 seem to be a kind of a hodgepodge collection. You would assume these are possibly from more like communal farms where it's like a bunch of families kind of work together.
I go round and spend a little bit of time with each of them and give them all the same amount, this time out of my own purse, if nobody else joins me.
Do you tell us what you're doing?
Togrim will probably say. He'll probably know.
Yeah, I'd probably say you went round talking to everyone.
To make it easier, I'm just going to take 40 out of my gold now. That way, when you divide it, you don't need to take any money out of the collective that you need to split in 6 ways.
Yeah.
The rest of you, meanwhile, have gathered around your camp, the small fire that you've got going, and a couple of logs next to it. While these 2 have gone off and had conversations. Anything you're wanting to cover, discuss?
Just that I've got that money from the apothecaries to split between us. I got, I was given 290 gold. I spent 18 of that on the food we've got, so there's 272 to split between the 6 of us. Can't do maths. That's not an easy number to split 6 ways.
I think there's like online calculators for this.
5 gold.
270 would be 45.
0.3 reoccurring.
Yeah.
So if you just gave everyone
45.
Can we just give credit to Chris for getting 45 there? That was Mark.
240 is 40.
Yeah, I just enjoy watching you do mental maths. Reminds me how smart you are sometimes.
Multiples of 6 are all you add up all the digits, and if they add up to
He can't take a compliment, can he, Sarah? He just has to go for.
Sorry.
Yeah, that works. 45 gold to everyone.
I will hand mine to Balrick.
90 gold for me.
Do you like this system?
Do you want to hand me some?
No, I'm thinking maybe
You
Togrim
wanna
might be
keep your
more
gift with me?
reliable.
I've not lost any money yet. Togrim's been spending his. I've got Aderyn safe in an interest-free account.
I think you might be one of those people who might suffer with a gambling addiction if the opportunity arose.
The fact that I've just realised the intense irony that the Nepo baby of the group literally puts her money in the bank of mum and dad. Just got whacked by the irony. Deeply entertaining. Cool. Money handed out. Anyone? Anything else? Books to read, songs to sing, poems to write.
I was going to say, if there were kids about, as I went around, I'd probably have offered, if they wanted, a little show to help the kids.
Okay.
Probably just telling some stories back, or some simple stories that kind of everyone learns at primary school, but with some flair.
Do some bad poetry.
I'll leave that to you. Mine's good.
Interesting. Roll me a history check. I want to see if there's a story that you know that might be relevant.
22.
22. You're doing these stories. The rest of you are staying at your own campfire watching Tauri go off and be the performer that she's actually quite good at being, that you saw once in Kalkath. And Tauri, as you're going along and you're thinking of other stories to tell, one does spring to your mind. Not that long ago, it's maybe close to a century ago. The Brecklian Fields were caught in something called the Spirit Fires. Tumultuous time where it was believed that flames from what is colloquially called the spirit world took over the Brecklian Fields and damaged a lot of crops, specifically up towards the northern end of the Brecklian Fields. And it got dramatised over the time, and the eventual success of the Empire in flourishing in the aftermath and the regrowing of the fields. But as you're kind of just telling that story, there's a weird...
dichotomy.
Not dichotomy, the opposite of a dichotomy, but yes. There's a lot of similarities that just form some connections in your brain.
Is she telling these kids this story?
So the kid's story beside it is like how the spirit. It's more about the story of the aftermath of the spirit fires. Like it goes through the low of the spirit fires happening and a lot of people losing a lot. But then
Yikes.
It's not necessarily death. It's like the farms are burnt, but then it's the Empire invests and together as a community everything regrows and we get back to what we had before.
To be honest, Tauri probably picks that one on purpose because of the semblance of what's happening now, not realising it at the time, and then as she says it like 4 times, the linkages start happening because kids like to hear it's happened. Something like this has happened before, but it was all fine.
Yeah.
So when I finally get back, and as we're kind of getting set up for the evening, Tauri will probably say, these fires might have happened before.
What do you mean happened before?
Do you remember the old fairy tale of the spirit fires? Well, Charles' tale.
Would I have done?
Weirdly enough, I think you would have been old enough when they happened. Well, you would have been alive when they happened, I should say.
I don't remember how old I am. 107? 107.
Trying to remember where my timeline is.
Can't get it together. Jokes.
Yeah, It was less than 100 years ago. About 60 odd years ago.
So
You
will I
would have
know
been-
anything about it?
Roll history.
Or were you too buried in your workshop?
And underground.
Underground to the north of the
Yeah.
Empire.
You mean, like I said, buried in his workshop?
Also dependent. I would have been like 15, most when it happened.
What if it was less than a
Chasing
century?
tail.
20.
Was that unnatural?
20.
Dirty 20, yeah. Yeah, you remember the news of the Feywild. Feywild, Jesus. The Spirit Fires. The Spirit Fires happening. It was a great time when the Empire's primary food growing region goes up in flames. But it was also one of these that the fires kind of ended rather suddenly. It wasn't like a like Australian bushfire that raged for weeks and kind of thing. It was like sporadic fires here or there that kind of hit up and went down. But the process of them, just suddenly there weren't more happening. And eventually the Agricultural Commission got the land back, managed to overturn the soil and get crops growing again. But it was quite damaging, the Empire's food supply for a year or two.
Right. So yeah, I mean, it was a pretty big thing when it happened last time. I don't know any.
None of us know Togrim's
so
age,
far
do we?
away. I think you do.
I don't know if we do.
I don't know if we said it in character or just as players.
As players, we know. I don't think anyone
Yeah.
in person. Can I do an insight check to realise, or would it be clearly obvious that he was alive?
I don't think it'll be clearly obvious, but the way he's talking implies that he has like first-hand knowledge of the event, kind of thing.
You're older than you look, Togrim.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm 107. If you didn't know,
I don't think it's ever come up.
I don't know how old any of you are.
Not that old.
What moisturizer do you use?
Mud. I'm a gnome.
Oh, there's certainly better ones than that you can try. As you turn to look, sitting on a log next to the campfire that wasn't there previously, is a very high cheekboned, long-eared, red-headed performer that you met in Calcurth those few weeks ago. Sitting lazily, just tuning up a lute.
Feels like a lot longer than a few weeks ago, I've got to say.
Yeah.
It's because it's because it's in out of character time. It was like months ago.
Where is? Oh my god, where is he? I'm Rain.
Is it Amrain?
Amrain.
I'm Rain.
Rain.
Was that the performer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fancy meeting you lot here.
Tauri, continuing and not even passing a glance at him, just says, "It is normally common courtesy to ask to join people at their fire pit."
Oh, I'm sorry if I do apologise. I thought you were speaking to everyone here this evening. But if you don't want to catch up, well, I'll certainly leave.
Didn't say you couldn't stay. Just said it was polite.
Why don't you sit down?
I think
He's
we'd
already
like to
sitting
hear what
down.
lotions and potions you use on your delicious looking face.
Oh, this is a matter of keeping oneself young at heart.
How does one do that these days?
It helps when you keep travelling. I don't like being confined. I find it boring. But hey, that's odd conversation to be having. How have you been getting on?
I think that's a bit more odd of a conversation to have, considering we don't really know you.
What do you wish to know? We seem to be kindled spirits, after all.
Did you say kindled?
Yes.
Under his breath, Leslie's like, I wish to know you, carnally. But like, super quiet.
Yeah.
There's a twitch of an eyebrow.
I'd like to know what you were doing with that fire when last we saw you.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting you started the fire. It's pretty obvious, right? I'm just gonna look around at everyone else.
Pretty obvious.
Dancing on
That
the
is
thing?
what she asked.
Out of character.
Hmm?
Was it him who was
You
dancing?
just saw a silhouette.
Saw a
dancing.
figure.
That's
all
what
you
I was
had.
thinking.
But it was a sexy silhouette, right?
Depends if you're into that.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, I was there the night before. I think we all remember. Rather enjoyable performance from myself and yourselves as well. We certainly brought the house down.
Say what you want about him. He's very funny.
But it seems you've been up to a fair amount since we last spoke. 2 new companions?
They're friends.
Friends. Excellent.
Flash.
Friends are important. I don't have many. Not here, anyway.
Where then?
Back home.
Which is...
Place I haven't been to in a while.
You don't like talking straight.
Where's the fun in that? Come. Tell me what you've been up to in the last... Or how long has it been? I struggle to keep track sometimes.
In about 2 weeks.
While he's chatting and stuff, do I get any hints or anything otherworldly from him?
In what way are you trying to figure that out?
Just
Smile.
The way he talks, the way he acts, anything in his demeanor. I can't cast detect magic or anything like that, so I'm not asking in a magical sense.
Roll me an insight check.
No. I rolled a 3, so even with an insight of +5, I'm not getting high.
There's an air of charisma.
You want to know what we've been up to?
Yes. I mean, I've heard some interesting tales this way.
Oh, really? What have you
Well,
heard?
you know, I hear snippets now and again from individuals. Be nice to get the full story.
Oh, well, we've been up to things.
It would help to know. It would help to know what you know.
Oh no, where's the fun in that? I want to hear it all from you.
we get up to so much, it'll be easier to fill in the blanks.
I have a long time.
We do it with a game then, since you like fun so much.
What are you proposing?
You try and guess what you think we've been up to, and we will say if you are hot or cold, depending on how close to the truth it is.
And what do I get if I win?
You get to know. Isn't that fun?
See, I don't need that, though. I just want to be entertained by you. I'm certain I can offer something in return.
What can you offer?
Depends how good your stories are.
Your body.
I don't think you could handle that anyway.
No, like side-eyed Lesley.
What's the last thing that Amhrane said?
Depends how good your stories are.
Well, we always have some excellent stories of a young lady called Tabitha.
I don't quite understand what you're offering.
Tell you what. Story for a story. You tell me yours, and the rather interesting, colourful stories of this area, and I'll answer a story you want from me.
Alright, but why do we have to go first? It seems awfully rude since you are the guest.
Very well, what do you want to know?
I'm gonna look around the group. Be like, anyone going to ask or shall I?
No, please, you take charge.
You took the driving seat.
Oh, come on now! I know I said I have a long time, but you really don't.
Right. Well, the fire we saw, was that you?
I may have had a hand in it.
Why? Why would you find pleasure in starting a fire?
Answer me this, why do your kind find pleasure in building? Because it's in your nature.
You speak as if you're not of our kind, so what are you?
Something better. At least, you all used to understand that once upon a time.
What did you mean by we don't have a lot of time?
Oh. Clock's ticking. People running. Sun keeps moving. I have no interest in such concepts. But you all have this, I don't know, air of prey running from something. But again, this is awfully depressing and upsetting. Let's have some entertaining stories. Come now, what have you been up to? I've heard some inflammatory stories about rather eccentric individuals that don't belong.
Tauri is going to go with a wild one here. I'm just going to go, well, we killed one of your cousins.
Ooh. Do tell.
And then, hold on, I need the notes up now, because I cannot remember for the life of me what they were called. Wow, we had a little run-in with... What was the name of the thing we killed?
Puck.
That wasn't that was the
No,
creature, right?
The
A puck.
fairy. The one that
Yeah,
put
no,
the thing on Lesley.
It
I'm not
was
that we know its name.
a puck.
It was a puck.
Yeah.
We don't know his name.
You never interrogated it for a name.
Fine. I didn't know that. I thought Puck might have been its name.
As far as you know.
We had a run-in with a little fairy of a puck nature.
Oh. The little gremlin got loose, did they? Well, sometimes we start fires we don't mean to. Thank you for dealing with them. They tend to be rather frustrating and not overly helpful in what we try to build.
And what does you try to build?
I try to build things how they were. At least that's what I was told to do. But
So
then interference
it.
happens. But
Who's telling you to do these things?
oh, you know, people in charge. Although I haven't heard from her in a while. Maybe I should go check on that. But I suppose my work is not done, so I should probably complete that before I return.
Do you need some help?
Are you offering?
I'm not sure. I quite like to know what you're up to be honest. You're an intriguing individual.
Well, perhaps if you ask nicely, you might get a eye-opening history lesson. But if you're willing to help, then that is interesting. As I said, thought we were kindled spirits in some way.
I am always interested in history.
All bargains must be equal. What do you offer for a history lesson?
I mean, I suppose you probably already know what little I know about of the Lord of the Still Waters.
Oh! Odd fellow, I must say. Rather languid for most of the time, but don't try to touch his food. That's the advice I'll give you if you come across them.
Never met them, unsurprisingly. I suspect they're quite reclusive.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me considering the state of things. And as he waves a hand, there's a flutter of embers that just traces behind them.
The embers, there was nothing oddly coloured about the flames.
No,
Were there? No, back in the big fire.
not particularly.
Just-
Look like fire.
That's fine. Although, you don't happen to know about a stag, do you? Stag with
You?
starlight for antlers.
Oh. Now that is interesting. Huh. Didn't expect that. Very well. That's interesting information.
If we've given you interest and information, it only seems fair for you to give us some in return.
I think that's justified. It waves a hand, and the campfire that you have begins to take form, and begins to play out like a movie, essentially. And Crane begins to narrate over the top. You see, before this so-called empire grew to prominence, the land was more wild, more prone and better bearing of nature. And you see as the images take form, it's a zoomed out picture of what you assume to be Fathaline, the central portion of this continent. But where you're used to maps covering like the Brecklian fields, that entire area is a massive forest. Wall-to-wall canopy of trees. And then, over time, as you people recovered from one catastrophe after the other, inevitably caused by yourselves, you grew and demanded more and more and more, and, well, eventually it came too much. And you see the images as that forest begins to be cut back, and you see the Brecklian fields begin to take shape. And in a glance, you can spot that what are now 3 well-known large woodlands, the Maidenwood across the river from Shir Dothras to the southeast, the Lush Glen Forest on the borders of the Tyson Sea next to Resmantful, and the Gaidan Woodland to the far north near to Griffkeep, what are now just what is left of this massive, almost continent-spanning forest. And eventually we had enough, and felt it time to enact our due. And to, or as I was told, restart, regrow, rebirth. And you see specks of fires grow in the Brecklian fields and begin to take over and burn down areas. But it seems you still hadn't taken enough. Well,
Notice.
now it's time to continue. You seemed to be little firebugs yourselves, and I hope maybe you understand the need for a recycling of the earth. If you're of interest, I'll be holding a gathering soon. I'll let you know when and where. Feel free to join. Or don't. Either way. As a parting
How
gift...
will you find us?
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that. I have an awful good way of speaking to people as they sleep. But, as a parting gift for dealing with troublesome side issues, and perhaps your passing interest in my endeavours, when they turn up, they won't see you. And Amhrain begins to stand up.
Just because I think an insight of 16, would I get the connotation of the Castigators?
They betray nothing. You are of your own interpretation. They stand up, straighten out their cloak, and the fire goes back to normal.
Before they leave, can I mentally ask them a question?
Sure.
I'm just gonna mentally go. Before you leave, do you know the purple eye?
I have no idea what you're talking about. And then the fire suddenly cracks and sparks up as a piece of wood falls in, and at the moment you clear your eyes, they're gone. At the end of the third day of travel, you've now reached the crossroads that connects you back up to the main route between Geodothras and the rest of the Empire. The rest of your group have kind of settled in, set up a camp to one side of the crossroad. A few other refugees from the ongoing fires in the Brecklian fields have made camp nearby. Tauri has entertained them, shared some wealth with them, while the rest of you kind of set up camp. You're still processing, shall we say, recent events.
There are two brains in my brain.
And as darkness begins to creep over, and the stark contrast you have between lights and darks re-emerges, is there anything you would like to do at all?
Just as we've sort of set up camp and having a look around, we've moved away from the other travellers, haven't we?
You're you're all kind of like one caravan
tent
park.
village.
Yeah. But you're not like surrounded by them. You are off to one side and they're off to the other.
Yeah. Okay. And just sort of looking around, thinking back from a very long time ago. Back when I used to work fields and look after my family. Can't remember my parents. That was too long ago to really have much more than a face, or at least a vague shape of two people. And all that's burnt. And I'm used to my past burning away. My past being lost to me, but seeing it so fresh for all this lot, for something they can definitely remember, and will remember for a long time to come. I think as Ximori is just sort of sitting there at the corner of the camp, looking out at the people around, just their eyes settle on one person, one sort of older person just sitting around the fires. And the world just darkens a little bit as they sort of reach out in their mind, extending their hand to sort of lay on the person's shoulder. – 60 feet away, of course, and their hand isn't going anywhere near, but they can for a moment almost feel in their hand the feeling of trying to console this person who's lost everything. And then Amrain's here for some reason. The pretty ginger one from before. And Ximori doesn't quite understand what they're talking about. Doesn't see why Amrain would be setting fires, or how Amrain would be setting the fires. They were there with us. And thinking back many years ago now, for something Ximori half remembers, the Fey fires of many years back. And I think they just find themselves looking at the fire and just thinking, I can't clarify those thoughts. Is that a thing you can help with besides just giving me claws and teeth?
What are you asking?
Help me remember before I met you. The fires. The fires. Long ago.
Roll me a history check.
With my special little bonus.
Actually, no.
Oh.
Interestingly.
That was a 2.
You were involved. I think you were still at the Agricultural Commission at this point. Can't quite remember timelines, but it was close enough that you felt the sting of the previous Fey fires. Or the Spirit fires, as locals called it anyway.
I was 30 years old at the time.
You'll definitely remember it, even if it was that long ago. They were primarily focused towards the north end of Brecklian Fields, and they decimated the land up there. It took the better part of a decade for the Agricultural Commission, with the help of actual druids, to essentially refertilize and get the land back to a serviceable state.
It made it really boring working in the Agricultural Commission.
The main thing you remember, like, you don't remember much. What you remember, though, is the fact that it all kind of stopped without much, like, fanfare. There wasn't a culprit found. There wasn't a... They've all been put out by heroic fighters. It just kind of was done. That's all you kind of remember at this point. Not my time.
I think as I'm thinking, my mind keeps slipping off of the idea of the fires and back to being a stocky, slightly thick desk boy, basically, for the Agricultural Commission. Just thinking of that life before all this started. That I could be one of those people over there.
Instead, you found strength in darkness, and now stride the world.
I mean, I didn't really choose that.
You chose more than you know. You chose to find and accept.
Chose to live. That's a different thing.
And sometimes living comes at the price of others' screams.
Yeah, that's true enough.
We
I
must
suppose just should... I'm the one talking here, brain thing. Right, your face. I suppose if we are going to make people scream, shouldn't be the innocent like that, though.
find worthy souls.
Yeah, that part was really annoying. I don't like how you did that with my throat, so, you know, dial it back a bit.
We share life. We share voice.
You sound nothing like me.
The voice your head has given me.
I guess you do sound a bit familiar. But, I mean, usually when I speak like you speak, it's not words I'm saying. It's screams and shouts and angry. Why did my brain give you that voice? Magic stuff's weird. It's brain stuff.
Just remember, voice you give me, and the voices we scream, bathed in the blood of our foes.
I'm beginning to see why people get put off when I speak.
He shall be one, worthy of our screams. And you feel your head just pulled to face and lock Aderyn.
I hardly know them. That doesn't seem fair. But if they are hurting that lot, I don't know, though. I don't think this could all just be bravado. It's like Tauri when they say they're hot shit. Or Lesley, and he's always going about, oh, I used to play Titan Ball. What is Titan Ball?
I do not know. Wasteful questions.
Hey, we share. So you have to share my time as well.
If you wish not to harm him, then let us find those you wish to.
In the morning, maybe. Or on the road. I'm feeling full right now.
You feel the presence just kind of recede back into whatever pocket of your mind that it sits quietly in.
I think as I'm sitting there, I'm just sort of look at Lesley. Just thinking, what is Titan Ball anyway?
It's at that point there is a flash from the firelight as embers spark into the sky and the swirling cloak and dappled crimson hair of Aderyn is gone, as your party seem to question what just happened. And I think there is an interesting place for us to stop as we zoom out with this small gathering of caravans at the crossroads between Narragansett, Dothras, and the rest of the Empire, with you all left blinking in the firelight, wondering what you're going to do with the proposal. We will end this chapter of our story and pick it up next time. But until then, see you later.